Hey Dylan, it's Bree with Northland Marketing, and as promised, I just wanted to record you this quick video to go over a little bit what I see for your site, kind of what I recommend based off competitors in the area, and how we can help. So starting with Googling for you, I see your Google business profile shows up here, and as we talked about, we'll kind of want to settle on a name, whether buildings and barns is going to be added into your name and you have a DBA, or how you want to handle the name situation, but we'll want to settle on a name that you'll use consistently across the board, and maybe that's this, but we'll just want to start there. Since you don't have a website, I'll kind of audit your profile here. I can see you've got 4 Google reviews, which is a good start, but we really want to get this as close to 25 Google reviews as possible to start, and then continue adding on. The more reviews you have on here, and the more consistently and frequently you get reviews, as opposed to just like getting a bunch and then getting none, the more frequency and consistency you have, the better that will help this profile to show up when people are looking. You really want to interact with it by uploading new photos regularly, getting new reviews regularly. We'll take a look at this category. Is building firm what your competitors are using? Are they using something else? Is that really the best one? So services, it's missing a service. Obviously, we'll add the website once you have a website. If you have other social medias, like if this is your Instagram, maybe, you'll want to have all of your social medias on here. The description here is very short. It does look like you have a keyword, building company in CT, so maybe that's a good word. Maybe we need to get more specific. We'll do that research. Kind of looks like there's a lot of quotation marks going on in here. Maybe it was copy and pasted from somewhere, but we definitely would need to edit this. And then just a couple of the reviews. So we definitely want to get the services on here. We want to get some more content in here, social media, get the photos, more reviews, etc. That'll really help this profile to rank. Another thing that's really important is getting your name, address, and phone number in online directories, things like Yelp or Yellow Pages. Experience is a good one. BuildZoom is a good one. Buzzfile, Dun & Bradstreet. So getting your information in online directories like these, and like I said, consistent, so having the correct name, correct phone number, correct address is really important, because it's going to help build trust around you. There's going to be a lot of information online about your business, and Google's going to be willing to put you higher up at the top when people are searching for your services. Now, I know you said you are starting to get more into steel buildings and kind of larger barns and stuff like that. And so just to keep this simple, I'm going to show you an example for barn builders, but when we get into the proposal stage, we'll do a lot more research, but it's going to be easier to show you with an example of barns. So I did a Google search for barn builder Connecticut. And the first thing that shows up are these Google business profiles. So just like we were talking about yours. And we can see the barnyard manufacturing facility, and country carpenters. Okay, we can also see country carpenters is showing up first in the section below called the organics. And so they're doing a pretty good job. Let's take a look at their site. The first thing I notice is this is not their homepage. This is a page they have about Connecticut barns, which is important. They have an entire page just specifically for barns in Connecticut, which helped them to show up when we were searching for a barn builder in Connecticut. They've got a really beautiful photo of a barn. Don't love this. This doesn't feel super like a logo. I think that could use some work, but that's okay. They've got some nice photos here with some calls to action, a little bit about them. They have a catalog, their process, another really nice photo, more photos, what's included, call to action, and then get started. So overall, they've got a good site. I do think there's some things that could be added here for benefit. I mean, they need a menu up at the top here. There's no menu, like I can't click to the home page, and there's no contact info at the top. The logo's not up here. So There is some room for improvement, but this is a good start. And you'll also notice they have keywords in here, Connecticut barns, which is important. So when people are searching for barn builder Connecticut, if you had barn builder Connecticut all over your site, you're going to be really relevant for that search, and Google's going to be willing to put you higher at the top. So the fact that they have Connecticut barns here isn't ironic. They did that intentionally. Now, there are some things that I would improve further with this site and some things that we would want to do for your website. For example, we would want your website, your homepage, to have about 1,500 words, and this is for two reasons. So the first reason being is that Google has these crawlers, and the crawlers come through and read the content. They try to figure out what areas you serve, what services you offer, and the more content you have on your site, the more you're going to look like an expert in Google's eyes. Secondly, we want to beat out your competitors. So if your competitors had 1,000 words, then we want 1,500 and so on. And within that content, like I mentioned, we want those keywords. Now, if I put their website into a software we have called Eris, this is what I use to kind of research the back end and see what they're doing. Now, the next thing I want to go over is UR and DR ratings. A UR rating is essentially a trust rating with Google, and a DR rating is essentially a power rating with Google. One of the main ways you raise these numbers is through something called a backlink. And essentially all a backlink is a brand endorsement or a shout out from another website. So if there was another site and they said, hey everyone, go check out Country Carpenters, they're the best ever, here's their website with a button back to their website, then that would be considered a brand endorsement. And what's cool about this software is I'm able to click on this and go through and see what websites they're getting power from and go and attain those for your site, so we can get your power numbers up. Now, lastly and most importantly, I want to talk about the organic keywords. These are the keywords within the content that I was talking about before. For example, we can see Garage Kits Maine, so apparently they must go all the way up to Maine. There's approximately 90 people who Google this per month. Vermont Barn, there's approximately 100 people who Google this per month. New England Barns, approximately 150 people who Google this per month. Singular, New England Barn, another 150. Prefab garages, okay, so that might be a good way to look for keywords if that's something that you offer. Approximately 70 people. Barn Kits Maine, 20. Barn Kits Massachusetts, 20. Barn Builders, New Hampshire. Post and Beam Barn Kits Maine, right? And I won't go into all of them because it seems like they are really going after a lot of states, and I don't know if you do that as well. But there's definitely some good keywords in here. I even filtered them for Connecticut, and we can say barns for sale in CT40, barns for sale CT10, barn for sale 10, barns for sale Connecticut 10. I won't go through all of them for CT as well, but barn dominium. It'll be good to hear from you kind of what you do or don't offer in the areas you serve, and then we'll be able to go and do our research and kind of start from there. So hopefully that makes sense and is helpful, and I look forward to speaking with you on Thursday. Have a great day.